Welcome everybody to the Gecko Pod, episode number 27. We are a podcast for the gecko community where we talk about the hobby and business of breeding geckos. And we hope to bring more people into this gecko hobby, reptile hobby, and encourage everybody in their projects and just keep learning and growing from each other so we can all collectively build our community together and to make it the best it can be. My name is Harry at Zero's Geckos. AJ is AJD Reptiles, and Allie is with us today. Hidden Valley Geckos is hanging out with us, and we're excited to have you, Allie. How you doing, Allie?
I'm doing great today.
Good. Yeah, good. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me on the show today.
Allie and I are semi-local to each other.
Yeah. You were like 4.5 hours away or so in Virginia.
Yeah, I think like I said, I've never been down to AJ's house. We tried twice too.
Yeah.
And I think one time Sam wasn't with me, and then the other time something happened with AJ. But yeah, I think it's still like 4.5 hours. It's just further, it seems like, than Gabby's.
I'm further west than Gabby.
Yeah, but I think it's still easier to get to your house because of where the highway lands. Because I have to go down like it's more back road.
So it's more miles, but it's closer time because of like the roads.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Allie, give us a quick snapshot of who you are, where you're located, how long have you been in the hobby, how'd you start, things like that, just so we can get a baseline.
Okay, so I'm in Virginia. I'm actually in Northern Virginia, basically right off 81. If you come up to DC, you fly by me. I got into the hobby in 2016, actually. It's kind of funny because people always ask me, like, oh, how did you get into it and everything?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always liked reptiles as a kid. So, like, we have yellow ringneck snakes up here. And I'd always find them during the winter under a trash can and just bring them inside. And, like, just have them, like, under the laptop because it was warm. So they would just sit there. I'd put them back outside. But as far as getting into the hobby, I lived in Florida in 2016 for a year. And
where in Florida were you?
I was in Four Corners, which is right above Kissimmee, Orlando area, because I worked for Disney. So I think I had bearded dragons. I knew about bearded dragons. I known about bearded dragons for a long time, but I didn't know about Crested. And I found out about the Orlando Repticon. And we went. And I cannot tell you how overwhelming a Repticon was then, especially for somebody who never knew that, I never even knew that reptile conventions existed. I don't know why, but I just never thought that they did. So I went and I bought my first crested gecko, actually for $50. It was from Catherine, Manatee Suncoast.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
She was selling males.
I didn't know any of this. I didn't know any of this about you. That's so cool.
So she was selling males, and that was actually when the crested market hit. Like, it was crazy. Like, everybody wanted crested geckos. So she was selling males at the show for $50, and I bought this crested gecko, and it was 25 grams at the time. Air quotes male.
What morph was it?
And I took it home, and I was like, I don't think this is a male. And her name was Calcifer. Ended up being a female. I had her for 3 years. But after I got her, I actually bought another one off Craigslist like a week later.
To breed them, yeah.
Well, I had bought another female. And then I was looking for males. And I don't know, like 3 went to 20 within, I don't know, like 2 months, because
we know how it is.
Well, I ended up some stuff happening with my ex, and I ended up moving back home. And I think like that just kind of set me off. So I just needed the animals. So I went from like 3 to 20 to like 50 within such a short amount of time. It was mostly babies though. And that's pretty much where it got me. I think I met Sam because of that, because I bought one from her, realized she was local, met up with her. And then I don't know. She just kind of took me under her wing, and like we've been best friends ever since.
Yeah. Oh, so that was early on too, and was that also in 2016 that you've connected with Sam?
I think that was 2017.
Okay. Cool. And then what kind of morphs did you start with? Was like calcifer and these other morphs that you?
She was a partial pinstripe. She was a, oh my God, I remember they labeled pinstripes by percentage back then.
Yeah.
Which I guess we really don't do now, but she was a 90% pinstripe harlequin.
That's cool.
Just kind of like a dark and cream. And then, I don't know. I got a whole bunch from AC. You know, everybody goes to AC because he was like, you know, he's a top breeder and everybody trusts him. So I got some from AC, and I'm not actually exactly sure what I got from Sam at the time. Like, I don't think I kept it. I kind of went through a cycle of where I bought stuff, and then I was like, I probably shouldn't keep this many, so I would, you know, sell them. And then the cycle starts, you know. But so I think breeding wise, I had a pair in 2017, but I don't think I ever did anything with it. And then 2018, I did 3 pairs, I think.
Okay. So 2018 was when you started breeding, getting crazy with the breeding. But at that point, you already had a bunch of animals. Did you have your AJD reptile animals at that point? Did you buy like a wholesale lot?
Yeah, I think I bought a 10 or 20 pack, and I kept,
cool,
I think probably 4.
Okay.
But I ended up, you know, just selling off the rest.
Yeah. So at that point, you had a lot of breeders, but you only bred 4, or they all grow outs?
No, most of them are grow outs. I think I had 6 adults at the time, but only did 3 pairs.
Okay, cool. And then where are you at now in terms? I know you wanted to downsize too. We'll talk about that. But where are you at now in terms of breeding pairs?
So originally at the end of last year, I had 105 females.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a lot. Oh my gosh.
That's AJ Gabby status right there.
Yeah. So that could breed. And I think I ended up with 95 pairings.
Wow. Okay.
That I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So yeah. I would say though, so far I've only done half. I'd really have to look, but I think I've done half.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot of animals, and you have another full-time job as well, right?
Part-time. I'm just part-time.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So you're looking to downsize currently, right? I know you mentioned a few weeks ago that you wanted to downsize and focus on some of your projects a bit more. How is that looking? And are you sticking to that, or are you gonna breed them all out?
Actually, it is really hard because you get so attached to these animals.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of the stuff now is stuff that I've grown out, 2-3 years. And some of it's old breeders that I've had since 2018, 2019. And I mean, they're not old, but I've had them for so long. It's just really hard. But I'm trying to stick to it. I'm trying to narrow down some of the white wall and tricolors. Just because I have so many of one line too. You just don't need to keep it all. Dalmatians, I'm trying to specify this. I mean, the tiger pattern I'm actually trying to get rid of.
I should buy some
on the dowels.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
They look so cool. I do agree. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Like I have Pepper Flakes here. She's a tiger dow. She produces some really nice spotted stuff, like some really nice super dow.
Yeah.
I just want some clean patternless animals because I want to do red spots on yellows, and I've noticed tiger pattern seems to cancel out the red spots so far. I mean, not like totally, but it seems like that's happening. So I'm trying to cut that out just a little bit more. I'm trying to just cut out like just random stuff, like extremes that just are not gonna work with the tricolor stuff. You know, just random projects that could have been geckos, just babies for wholesale, babies I could do for mystery packs, but it's stuff that I really don't need to do because I have enough here that I can still do that.
Yeah. Do you have a wholesale outlet? Because then if you pair like so many pairings, then you have like 1,000 animals or so. Is there, you sell them at shows, you do them? Yeah. Where's your outlet for the animals?
So we do shows. I have a website. Mystery packs are really on and off. It's funny. I don't seem to sell as many mystery packs as I do basic $100 animals. So I take one photo of that animal, post it for $100 plus shipping. I mean, people snap it right up and it's the same price as mystery box. And it's the same thing that goes in it.
But people don't like to be surprised.
Yeah,
often.
they want that. They want that photo.
Yeah.
So that seems to be a thing for me. As far as wholesaling, it's just locals or semi-locals.
Yeah.
So I don't really have like a huge outlet or one single person I go to for wholesale packs. It's just whoever hits me up. If they want something, they'll get it. And typically, I mean, it's nice stuff that goes in there, so they know that they're getting pretty nice stuff to resell at shows. But yeah.
So are you mainly, I know you had mentioned kind of the number of crested females you're breeding. What other species are you working with? Or what are things you maybe work with now and you're not going to work with, and the stuff you want to work with in the future? Just kind of give us a rundown of like not cresteds and not cresteds in the future.
Okay. So gargoyles, it's something we were working on. I've been working with gargoyles for 3 or 4 years now, and I feel like not a lot of people knew that because I've only ever had like 2 or 3 pairs running at one time. And I've just had such bad luck with eggs. Like I don't know if and I've swapped out males. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's caging for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing. Maybe it's my touch. I don't have the gargoyle touch. I don't know. So I have, I think, 5 pairs running this year. I'm trying a trio. They're perfectly fine together. And then I'm doing the younger male he's just gonna go in with his girls, and then pop them back out. So I'm trying that, but I'm almost to the point where, as much as I love baby gargs and I love my red projects, I don't want to keep them here if it's just not going to produce anything for me. Like I might keep 1 or 2, but I can't keep trying with them if they're just going to take up, the space.
Cage space.
It can be frustrating.
And maybe somebody else can, really work them into their projects.
AJ has a bunch of gargs going, right, AJ? So have you had trouble?
I've got a
with
bunch. The way I explain gargs, or the way that I've experienced gargs, is they either like crank eggs or they don't. There's not really, they're not like as predictable as cresteds, if that makes sense. You'll get some that'll lay, 5, 6 clutches, and others that will lay none, or will lay 1 or 2, or 0 eggs. So they're just not as dependable, I would say. As far as, you can't count on, even a bad year for a crested is like, I'm going to get like 6 eggs, I'm going to get 6 or, I'm going to get 3 or 4 clutches. Bad year for a crested. But with gargs, it's like a bad year could be 0 eggs, like no infertils, no fertiles, just like
that's gotta be
nothing at all. I will say it seems like they do better in groups, in my experience. So I'm breeding mine in like 1.3s. And I just leave the male with them all the time. Unless I'm moving the male, like I might do like I have a group. I've got 4 red stripe females that I have 1 male that I'm breeding to those 4, and so I put him like a month with this cage, a month with that cage, a month. I switch him like every other month.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I just kind of set and forget. And as they lay, and I'm not policing them too hard where it's like, this cage isn't giving quite as many. I'm keeping track of eggs, but I'm also not holding my breath on them as much as I would on some Cresteds.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if this cage with 3 females gives me 15 eggs this year or whatever, that'd be great, or if it gives me more, that'd be great too,
Yeah.
So you just kind of got to have lower expectations.
I mean,
I'm producing more Leachies than I am Gargs. Like, I swear I get more Leachy eggs out of a pair than out of Garg pairs.
Yeah. I mean, I totally expected less with Gargs, especially after like after my first or second season. Because the first season I produced 2 out of 2 or 3 pairs, and then the second season was
killing it.
4 out of 3 pairs, and I'm like, oh great. And then last year it was 0 out of 3 pairs.
So, that hurts.
Yeah.
So
are you getting eggs and the eggs are failing, or are you just not getting eggs?
So actually I'm getting eggs. Not last year. I got only infertile eggs, all infertile, and I even switched out the males. Actually I had 3 males, so I tried all 3 males with all 3 females. At different points in time, right? So like I waited and waited.
Yeah.
And it was nothing. So either infertile eggs or no eggs at all. There's actually one female here I'm trying one more year with, but I think she has a fertility issue in general anyway. Because when she was shipped to me, well, there was a huge thing on it, but when she was shipped to me, the exporter, there was no way he took care of her at all, because she was 10 grams less in weight than the guy who sent me the photo, and she was so dehydrated that she drank for 24 hours straight, like just on and off. Wow. When I got her, I thought she was dead. No joke. There was no water in the cup, which I understand some people don't. There's nothing, but it wasn't cold enough to where she should have shipped with no water. Like there should have been at least like a spritz or something.
Yeah.
So I'm almost wondering if that damaged, or who knows. She did lay me. I mean, she laid me 3 good eggs, but this was 2020. So since then, I haven't gotten any eggs, and I think she's 6 or 7 now.
Oh, man.
So, are you feeding your Gargs insects?
No, but I do insect powder. I mean, I haven't actually I did when I got crickets in, but I haven't had crickets in since my last batch died really fast.
They die so easily. We've got to talk about that sometime.
I just got like 14,000 a day, and I'm like, how many of these are gonna die?
14,000. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But I do the cricket meal twice a month, I think, where it's almost solely cricket meal. Like it's like 80.
So you just mix cricket meal and water and feed it to them?
No, well, I do like the probiotics with like fruit, like
okay.
Ariel's diet, but it's really more of like Melissa's take on the diet. I don't know if you've seen that.
His is like you add like a powder and yogurt and different stuff, right?
Yeah, but it's cricket meal, the yogurt, fresh fruit, honey. There's you do add calcium to it, like extra calcium.
Yeah.
And there's something else. Flax. Mentioned flax oil, but it's literally like a drop. But it's
yeah.
So basically, you do kind of like a fruit and insect kind of smoothie.
Yeah, it's more or less, that's like the treat though. That's like once a month.
How's the feeding response on that when you do it once a month?
Actually, the Gargs really like it. The Leachies don't. And the Crested are half and half.
Okay.
So, but they seem to really like the blueberry. The ones, I feel like the adults eat it more than the babies do. for some reason. I'm not sure, but it does seem. And well, we haven't gotten to the Eurys yet, but the Eurys actually really like it a lot.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Yeah, we got to talk about the Eurys too.
And we'll get to more feeding stuff later. But yeah, tell us about the Eurys.
Yeah.
So you talked about Gargs. It's kind of bittersweet with Gargs. What about Eurys?
Eurys have treated me very well. I have
good
counting. I think 3, 6, 9, 12.
Wow.
15, 18. I think I produced 30 last year.
Okay. Out of how many pairings?
So I had one EV, a Velarde, pair. I had one trio of Velarde going. One pair of Agricolae going, and another separate pair of Agricolae going.
Okay.
So they laid
that's a good amount.
A fair amount of eggs.
Yeah, that's cool.
So how do you treat those? I'm always curious because I breed them too, and I'm curious how you keep them cage wise and substrate wise and incubation wise and all that.
I'm only looking up because they're right above me. The tubs, funny enough, I got from Gabby. I don't know what size they are. I know she got them from the Container Store.
Probably large, tall shoe boxes.
They're like, hold on, let me back up.
Are they just a shoe box but taller?
Yeah, but they're like,
okay. Yeah.
So they have one 5-inch. I think that's a 5-inch screen in the front, and then I keep them on just Coco. The Pro Coco.
Yeah.
And then I think each of them have like 2 vines in there and one
food and water.
Yeah, a ledge. Food and water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, they're simple animals. They don't need much. And do you incubate them just like your crested eggs? Same setup?
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
I think I will say, as far as how many? Okay, so here is the other thing I did notice with Eurys. They do need really good ventilation. I don't know if AJ, do you have them or no?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The babies, it seemed like I lost 5 this year. Because they just would not shed. Like,
yeah, that happens to me too.
I don't know if I don't know if that's like the ventilation issue or if that's just a failure to thrive issue. But it was with all 4 separate groups, so each at least one from each group died.
I've lost a few this month actually, and I think it's because I dug my cages like way too late. So I pulled a bunch of eggs that had been in the cage for probably 2 months.
Okay.
And then put them in substrate. And I think they may have gotten like too wet in the enclosure. They weren't in a wet spot when I found them, but I don't know what they went through before I found them, you know?
Yeah.
So I think just pulling them out and incubating them. I just had some that hatched that were like real puffy. They just seemed kind of waterlogged. And then they just never they died in like a day. It's crazy. A day or 2. But yeah, I have seen what you're talking about where they'll get basically like constrictive shed and they just never get it off and it's just a death sentence for them.
Yeah, and you can't get it off. Like it's like
no, you can't get it off.
Tweezers and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna kill it. And it's just like either you're gonna kill it or it's gonna die. And I feel I just feel so awful for these poor little things because they're just, the size of your pinky nail.
So that's pretty common that it happens, that they don't survive like that.
I think
I think it's a struggle, but I'm sure there's a solution for it.
Yeah, it might just be something we're missing.
We're gonna ask some more Eury people.
Yeah, we could ask like Geckos or somebody and just see like, hey, what's your solution to this? And it might just be, and this is my assumption. It might be like when I used to breed Europlatus, and right when they come out, you kind of have to give them a high ventilation, but also high, like they need to be like wet and dry pretty frequently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when I would breed Europlatus, you do like critter keepers, and it would be like, man, they get like soaked once a day, but then by the afternoon, they're pretty dry.
Yeah.
So maybe they just need that because the initial shed on Yuri's is pretty flaky when they do shed it. So that says to me that they probably need that dry out cycle to flake it off, you know?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll find out.
We'll find some Yuri specialists. We have a Yuri episode.
So you're loving the Yuris. I love them too.
Yeah,
so
I'm
all
Yuri.
about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Harry's asked me about them, and
I'm still gonna get one from you. Don't worry.
And I'm like, well, you're coming to Flora Fauna, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll have them there, but
okay, cool.
I'm like, people ask me, and I show them, and they're like, man, they're really cool, and I want to get one. But I think also they just want to see them in person, which is totally understandable because you can't. Yeah. I can't get the colors in person, and I'm way too scared to take them outside right now. But I think I've only sold 3 or 4 from this season.
Okay.
So I don't know. I just want to keep them all because they take up like literally no space,
and they're cute.
You can have a billion of them.
Yeah, you can keep like 5 in one container. I mean, but no, I keep all my baby. Well, these are yearlings now almost, but I keep the babies paired, as little, and then as they grow, they get separated. But otherwise, I do have gargoyle Leachies. I've had Leachies since I think 2018 was when I got Cookie Monster, and I still have him. He's actually my original pair. I got so many eggs. I was not expecting it. I think I got I think I got 10 my first season.
Wow, yeah.
And I was like, geez, that's a lot of eggs. I got 8 from the same, the next season. Actually, we've been doing pretty good with the Leachies. I think last year, the year before, I think was the first time I saw them fight. Like, just a random pair.
They're like chomping at each other.
Oh, yeah. And
trying to rip each other's faces off.
Just the whole head.
Oh, no.
So
yeah, they'll just scalp each other, Harry.
Oh no!
The top of their head is just raw meat.
Yeah,
yeah.
Who was it? Was it Doug or somebody else? They had a video of them like putting.
No, that was Tiki.
Liquid Band-Aid or something.
That's right.
Tiki's. Yeah, that was Tiki. Oh god.
Oh yeah, that looked pretty bad. Like chunks missing right out of its head and its face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I've seen some where they're freaking bones of around their eye socket and everything are
showing.
Yeah, and then it's crazy. Like 2 sheds later, totally fine. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, they can get half their head ripped off and they bounce back from it. It's crazy.
Dinosaurs. They're so cool.
Yeah,
but they are dinosaurs. I don't trust that, so I went ahead and split. I was like, yeah, one not. The female was really aggressive anyway, and here's the funny thing: when I asked around to Leachy people, they were like, well. Usually it is one or the other, but I think they said
it's normally females beating males up.
Yeah, are the aggressors. And I'm like, man, I was like, well, they're just beating both, they're just both going at it. And I was like, I'm not doing all this right now. So we split them up. But last year actually was a really bad year for Leachies for me. I had one baby drowned. Oh no. And one baby
drowned in the egg or drowned in a water bowl?
No, drowned in the egg.
Okay.
It was a baby. I didn't catch, I saw, so the sibling hatched, and I waited a couple days for the next one. I don't cut eggs at all. So I was waiting. I look in the egg box one day after work, and it must have either cut open late that night or early that morning. It was fresh dead when I ripped the egg open. So I was like, well, lost that one. But I had just that one singular egg out of 4 pairs last year.
Wow.
So it wasn't great, but I still enjoy the Leachies as much as, they like to just shit down the front of their glass.
Oh yeah. They are a real treat.
Other than that, I like them. I keep them. I did send off 3 pairs to Kelly this year, Tree Devil Geckos, just because I needed a break from some of it.
So do you just have 1 pair at the house right now?
No, I have 2 right now.
Okay.
And then I also have 2 2-year-olds that I'll probably pair next year. And then 6 yearlings and the baby.
Hmm.
So,
Do you,
I mean,
yeah. Do you keep chewies as well?
oh no, I don't actually.
Okay.
I don't. Chewies scare me.
Oh,
Not in this.
And Leachies don't?
Yeah. Funny enough, like I don't know, Chewies just look extra mean to me.
Meaner than Gargs?
I did. I had a pair, actually. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I don't know. And I did pair them. They didn't give me any eggs, but like every time I'd reach into their cage, I just swear to God they wanted to rip my face off. Like, they would never launch or anything, but I don't know. Like, I feel like Leachies I can tell, but Chihuahuas I can't.
Yeah.
So, plus the fact that they need more bugs, really, than mostly anything, maybe other than Gargs. I can't do dubia. I've actually developed an allergic reaction to them where I get hives, and I get just like, really bad, like scratchy throats, even when I have them all clean. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
That's not uncommon. I've heard of that. Heard of a lot of people that have had allergic reactions to.
I don't think it's a very natural thing to have giant bins of cockroaches that you're cleaning.
This right here is all dubia.
So your body probably is like, what are you doing when you're inhaling? When you're inhaling, particles of dubia poo.
Yeah, I just changed my those egg carton things. I just changed them out this week to kind of clean it up a little bit, but. Yeah, there's a ton in here.
Good to wear a mask when you work with them.
Yeah, I'm just like breathing it in,
just sucking all that frass in.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Harry's actually putting a funnel on the front of his mouth so he can get it all.
I'm smoking it.
He's got a vape pen that's dubia flavored.
Dubia smoke.
So Leachies, Leachies are awesome. I had a similar experience to you. My first year breeding them was last year, and I think I did 5 pairs and I got 40 babies.
Oh my goodness.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting it. So I was just like, holy crap, this is crazy.
Full clutches.
That's a lot.
We'll see. Yeah, so I got like 4 clutches a female average. And this year we'll see how I do. But this is the follow-up year. I had 1 pair fight during cooling, so like during the winter I had 1 pair I had to break up, but I re-paired them with new mates and they both bonded with those. So looks like I'm back to those are not lost breedings. But yeah, it's just crazy and I love digging Leachy eggs out of the cage because it's like digging out a golf ball out of the cage. Some of them are so big.
It's actually an Easter egg hunt.
It's like crazy. I mean, they're big. Like, especially when they before they hatch, they're gigantic.
They're huge.
Yeah. And then some of the babies hatch out. Like, I had a baby hatch out. It's not uncommon for like 10-gram plus Leachy babies. It's like big.
Damn,
super
that's
big.
Huge. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So big.
Yeah.
So they're awesome. Harry's got a few. He's gonna be.
I have a pair. One from I have a female from you, right, AJ? Or was that a male?
A female from me, I think.
And then from Doug, a male. So they're just small. They're about like 20, 30 grams each or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. Right. We'll see. Yeah. Allie, so you have a large collection. It's huge. You have a bunch of stuff going. I wanted to ask you about kind of managing the burnout in the hobby, right? With Gabby and Brett, they have like a ton of stuff with a lot of full-time breeders. AJ, like always downstairs in the basement cleaning. How do you manage burnout? And any tips when it comes to the hobby and patience and managing burnout and things like that? Yeah, thoughts on that?
So I'll be honest, I'm going through a burnout.
Yeah.
Is part of the reason why we're downsizing a little bit. It's a lot. I think because it's just me, I know one person can do this, but it's a lot of work. I think if you can find somebody to help you, it would really help.
Yeah.
Ivan tries to help me, but he works third shift. So either I literally never see him or I see him like one day a week.
Yeah, that's tough.
And he can't help me like he used to. Like he would help me at least like once or twice a week. Even if it was just adults, that would help out a lot. Just even feeding them, like taking the lids and like just washing them a little bit. So I think helps you.
Yeah.
I think, taking it back to a reasonable number.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm trying to do. It would help you, if it's something you're going through. I think even like asking for help. So like, even if you need to send off animals, like it's something that I was debating on, which I did with the Leachies. Yeah. I sent off the Leachies. Asking for help from people, who you trust, even if they can sell off stuff for you for commission or whatever. Because that was also something that I debated. I think really it's probably taking the time to slow down as far as don't buy stuff you probably don't need. Like, I know it's really, really cool, like you want that extra project, but I think taking on those side projects from your main projects are just something that it's just going to overwhelm you. Yeah. Which, we talked before the show, Harry, but it's something that, I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get rid of side projects because I don't need them. It's something else somebody else can work with, and you can always ask for a baby back or for updates. I'm 100% sure if it's somebody they will gladly send you updates of that animal, So, I think just having...
Yeah, you don't have an employee or anybody to help. You just do by yourself.
I don't, I debated on getting an employee, but it's harder where I live. Sam lives in the city. Like, she lives in a college town, so it's like easier to get college students.
Yeah.
But I live, it's not in the middle of nowhere, but it's not in a town where anybody lives or even close. Like, it's 40 minutes to Sam's. And even though Woodstock, it's a small, I don't even know what you classify it as. It's not a town. But it's just it's like it's elderly, or it's like
sounds like where I live.
It's like AJ's town.
the average age on my street is like 70.
Oh no. Yeah, where
I live out in farms.
It's like all old people in farms. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Like, we have kids, but the kids where I live, like, I have 2 teenagers next to me, but I know they're always gone. So there's like no way I'd probably ask them for help.
That's hard.
But the kids here, it's smaller kids, it's like 10, 11 years old, not old enough where I could get them to help, I guess legally.
Yeah. Do you, when you're cleaning and stuff, do you, like call Sam or chat with anybody to kind of pass the time or anything?
I listen to podcasts, murder mystery podcasts.
Yeah.
Or music. So
that's cool.
That's about it. Actually, today, funny enough, I don't listen. Sorry, Harry. I don't listen to like regular podcasts, so like your podcast. But I was like, man, I really
neither do we.
I really need to listen to Sam's podcast. So I actually today, while I finished feeding and cleaning some of the adults, I listened to Sam's podcast, and it actually helped pass the time way faster today.
Yeah,
nice.
So.
That's cool. We're really honored you listened to it.
Somebody had to, right?
Well, I think I know the problem, Harry. There's not enough murders or mystery in our podcast.
We need to talk about more drama.
we gotta up the suspense and the thrills in this podcast. That's what it is.
All the drama.
Yeah. It's like, who cheated on whom? Going through
we just become like a Gecko Real Housewives podcast.
Yeah, we need some drama, more drama.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So what would you say are like things kind of with the burnout you're going through right now? Where's your head at as far as what you still need to do to maybe kind of get to a better place? And I know you had mentioned shrinking down some stuff and, kind of moving away from the side projects. Is there anything else you're doing to help with this?
You mean like talking to people?
I mean, anything. I don't care. I guess I'm just curious.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not really like I talk to people. I mean, like friends. Because I know, I'm sure at least once everybody, all the breeders have experienced something similar,
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was just a small burnout, I don't know. So I do talk to other breeders about it just to see what they have to say, and everybody who I've talked to, I'm so grateful for all my friends in the community and really the community as a whole, because they have offered a lot to me to help. But as far as helping myself with this, I am still trying to get more stuff out. I'm trying to break down on the adults that I have breeding this season. I don't think that's one of my lights. Hold on, let me grab that. I forgot I have 2 switches for these lights. I'm trying to get out the adults that I'm not going to breed, or that they will work in the projects, but they're just not like that A tier, And then
like half size, or what is the percentage of what you're trying to trim down towards?
I don't know about half, right? Because there's at least like 600 geckos in here still. I mean, if I could get it down to 3, that would be great. But a lot of it is babies. I mean, like I have like 8 full racks of babies still because I really haven't sold that much from last season. And I think part of the issue is just me holding on to way too much stuff that I don't need to hold on to.
Yeah.
So trying to move some more of the babies out. And I think as far as breeding all the adults that I had planned for this season, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to either let the younger ones go for another year, or I'm just going to give the ones who've already bred another season off. Something like that. So I'm not pushing to breed. Like I said, we talked about it earlier. I think I've done about half of my pairings. I've done the main pairings I wanted to do last season was mainly Dows. Like I feel like I focused more on Dows for some reason. Than the tricolor stuff. So this season, I think I'm giving over half the Dows I have planned a break, other than some of the red spot stuff. And the birdshot son, hopefully he'll make weight because I do still want to breed him.
Yeah.
And then I've done some nice white wall pairings.
Cool.
So I'm just trying to mainly focus on the white wall tricolors. I think this coming season will be more white wall for me than tricolors. I'm just going to pop out tricolors from those pairings.
Yeah. No, that's good.
So
I got you. So just trying to take it easy with some of the pairings, trying to be more selective with your top tier stuff, and the rest of it just kind of put on the back burner. Yeah, put it on the back burner.
So because I mean, like, I was gonna say, you don't need to breed everything. Like even though you have stuff, you don't necessarily need to breed it. I mean,
that's right.
It's not a necessity. It's just a want. So,
how would you define the difference for people that are newer between like a tricolor and a white wall?
Okay, so I technically have 3, so it's white walls, white wall tricolors, and then tricolors, right? White walls are specifically white walled, so they have, a lot of them actually have like the little wavy bars just right up to the mid line of the sides.
The lat line.
The lat line, yeah. So it's like strictly just a wall. I mean, it's either
just a block of white below the lat line.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. Which I've seen it in waves, but I've also seen it not like a quad stripe. It's a little bit different, but it does kind of lay flat.
Okay.
Actually, Triumph here, who is a soft scale white wall, hers has almost like a dip line. Like it's it's really cool looking. Tricolors, I just classify as 3 different colors. So, typically black base. I watched in your podcast with Sam, you kind of talked about that. You mentioned orange, which, orange is like a really main color for tricolors. And then usually it's like a creamy white. It's not white typically with tricolors. Hector's are like white, but a lot of the others I haven't seen like a lot of that really like super vibrant white. It's almost like it has a tint of cream. So it's white, but it's cream white.
Yeah. Do you feel like when we were hanging out with Emily and looking at animals, I feel like a lot of the brightest white animals are pins, not Harleys?
Yes. Yep. I can agree to that. It seems
so maybe it's tied more to that, like whatever those original animals that made the white wall stuff is what is what's making that. That's all I could guess. Yeah. I mean, because that stuff is like blinding white. Some of that Emily stuff is crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I know Harry was showing those photos. One of those photos is Johnny Cash lines.
Okay, which one is it?
The scroll up, I think.
Okay.
That one. Right. Scroll down one. A little bit more. A little bit more. Dead center.
This one.
That one.
Okay.
That is Johnny Cash, and that is actually whiteout. It's not a white wall.
Okay.
What's that? What would you define as whiteout?
Is it paper white?
I would almost say it usually is paper white, but it can also be, sort of like that. It's almost like an off-white. When I was talking to Hector about it, he was telling me, and it makes sense, these geckos, they don't start off white. They start off so bland. That gecko did not look like that.
Yeah.
That gecko was basically like all tan when it hatched. I mean, all babies have like this, baby color.
Yeah.
But the Johnny Cash line stuff typically does not gain white until anywhere from 7 to 15 grams. So that's when Hector said it's called white out, because it doesn't start off as white like white wall would. It brightens as it gets older.
Okay. Yeah. And do you feel like those animals hold color pretty well into adulthood, or do they yellow out?
I think most of them they don't hold like bright orange. They hold like that.
What about the white
color? The white seems to hold though. Yeah.
Okay.
I think up until, I mean, I don't know, because I haven't owned Johnny Cash long enough, and I haven't seen any of his past kids like forever. Since Eslin owned him. Johnny Cash now, he looks really bad. I mean, color wise,
like yellow.
Yeah, like actually,
it's crazy.
You want me to pull him out real quick? He's right here.
Sure. Yeah. That's something we were going to talk about, Harry, on the last live.
Yes.
So, Allie, something we were going to talk about, and I guess this is a good opportunity to do it, is I think people that are newer in the hobby don't know that geckos. Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Let me see if I can pull you.
But he was so bright orange and white. If you look up one of Eslin's photos, this is what you would consider a tricolor, like a really nice tricolor. But now when people look at him, they're kind of like, ew. He's so sweet though. But all
people are like, wholesale it.
Yeah, but I'm like, all of his kids get that really nice vibrant white. So
yeah,
I'm not sure how long they'll hold it for, but he's like 10.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, he's old, like he's getting old.
Yeah. But moral of the story, it seems like a lot of geckos change significantly over time and look worse as they age. And I don't think people talk about that, but like how many tricolors end up like, or animals that are white when they're young end up being more yellow as they age, you know? And that doesn't mean, I think, you know, I think people need to like see what the animals look like when they're younger, see the offspring that comes out of them, and be okay with knowing that. I think that sometimes people can be kind of like, oh, I don't want to show my animals anymore because, you know, I'm going to use the same picture from 10 years ago to sell the offspring because
it's like your DMV picture from 10 years ago.
Yeah, because it's really different. You know, so I don't know. It would just be nice if people would be understanding and like, that they would just get that the geckos don't stay looking the same their entire life.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. You know?
Yeah, but I think that's like a lot of people don't talk about it, so that's why people don't understand that that's what happens. So like even with reds, you know,
reds look horrible as they
oh my god, they look
good for like 2.5 years. They look good past their like you know, up until like their first season. Or maybe lily whites seem to hold better, but like lily reds, but the like standard reds, it's rough.
Because I have Ransom here who's Bloodbath, right? I think Bloodbath. No, is he a tribute? I don't know. He's one or the other. Anyway, you know, he's like 7 or 8 years old, and he was like that really nice red color. Because you know those lines produced really nice reds, and now, my God, he looks just brick red with like the gross yellow, and I'm like, you poor dude. Like,
you're never getting a picture taken of you.
Here's a red.
You know, I tried, and I was like, you just don't look too great.
Yeah.
But I also have noticed with reds too, though, like as babies, if they start off red, they do not look great as adults. But if they start off brown, as up until like, you know, 10, 15 grams, they get like really, really bright. But then they'll fade at like 4 or 5.
Yeah. It seems like most really nice reds that I produce, I don't really even know they're red until like 15 grams, 20 grams. And then they seem to hold pretty well. But the ones out of the egg, they're super red. It's not as...
I like your caption, Allie. Halfway done with reds. I swear. They turn...
Seriously. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing that makes me not want to work with them sometimes is just how late of bloomers they are. And then it's a quick burn, you know, like they don't hold the color great. That's the only one that I feel like holds... The only one that holds okay is like the portholes and like the phantom lily whites. I feel like those hold all right. But
how about darks? Darks also kind of fade out as well, right? As they hit the 3 year
I have no experience with like charcoal or darks, like how they age.
Okay.
That's not something I'm
not. Cute. My cat is also on my Instagram. My dog probably is too.
It's so cute. I love it.
That's cool.
Got it. Yeah. No, it's interesting. Yeah, I think I have some female breeders that are about maybe 5-6 years old, and they're definitely yellowed out, but they still produce. The babies are still babies, right? They'll still produce decent creamy white stuff, but but the actual aged breeders definitely don't look anything fancy whatsoever. So.
And it's easy as a breeder to look at them and be like, oh my gosh, like you don't really look that good. But you have to remember all the crazy offspring they produced for you. You know, like you can't discount. Yeah, their genetics haven't changed. It's just how they physically look has changed.
Yeah, maybe that's why Gabby cycles through a lot of breeders. You know, like she mentioned.
Yeah, she wants to keep them beautiful.
The fountain of youth at the Morph Menagerie. Everybody's young
do all
and
the
virgin.
geckos look good all the time? She's had them for 2 years.
All 2 years old.
That's
an interesting conversation. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
good to know. Good to know about.
But as far as back to the white wall tricolors, the difference between white wall tricolors and regular tricolors is the ones that I've been adding into. they have the white wall and will pass white wall down to pretty much 90% of their kids, also with pattern, making it tricolor.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
That's pretty.
See, that's more of just a tricolor to me, but even then, it's
got some nice white to it.
He's got white on him, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's going to be, different variances of white walling on the tricolors. Yeah. So actually, yeah, that would be...
That's crazy.
That top one's from Eric.
Okay.
Fabez.
Yeah. And then the bottom one's from me. I produced her out of... I think that's a Ricochet baby, out of Ricochet and Mustang.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been experimenting with Ricochet, but I think this will be her last season. She's kind of like a really weird extreme that has like almost like a orange white wall on her. I don't know if I have... I know on Facebook there's specific photos of her. I don't know as far as Instagram. But she made tricolors like Calypso. She made a tricolor white wall, which I think that's Gemini behind me. And then she made some like really, I think she made 2 or 3 of these weird, they're almost like pixelated. So I know people have been talking about the pixel lately. These look really weird. I don't have photos of the babies. I haven't taken photos of them. But they are pretty unique looking. But she's a pretty unique looking gecko. I know when I produced her, it's been 4 years ago. I posted her, and even as a hatchling, I mean, like, I had so many people ask me. They were like, just take my money. And I was like, no. It's like, she'll be, a forever gecko here, but she produces some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely a difference between, tricolors. There's definitely a variation between all tricolors. You got tan, cream,
yellow, orange.
I mean, like, there's such a huge variance lately. And I make
the deep orange versus the like light orange.
Now, okay, I wanted to make orange tricolors for the longest time. When I got into the hobby, Barb really influenced me when she had a whole bunch of really nice orange tricolors. So I was like, man, I want to make that. AJ and Harry, I have tried. I have tried for so many years to get so much more orange on my tricolors. You know what they turn out as? Tan. So I was making fun of them one day. Me and Sam were. She says, because I know that
Sam makes them, doesn't she?
She does make orange ones.
Yeah.
But I was talking to him. I was like, Sam, I can't make orange tricolors. She's like, yeah, but yours have like, a look to them. I'm like, yeah, they do. But like now I just need to call them something. They're caramel. They're caramel tricolors.
Caramel, there you go.
We can't call them tan now. Like
they're fancy. You should call them khakis.
The khaki line.
This is the khaki line.
Dude, so many of my tricolors are just...
I'm trademarking that for myself.
Oh my God.
The sand line. Looks like the tan sand.
I do love them though. I like how contrast, like how much more contrast they can have rather than the cream on white tricolors. But I don't know. I've aimed for so many years, and at this point, I'm just gonna stop trying. It's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
So did you try to make those from scratch, or were you buying like orange tricolors, breeding them together, and not getting anything? Like how did you attempt that?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I had Mustang early on who came from kind of orange. I mean, they weren't like vibrant orange, but they had some orange. Well, I think I really started with Solar Flare, who was orange. I bought her from Incredible Geckos back when he was still around. His Uhura and Mark II lines, right? Because they made some crazy white wall stuff. So I bought her, and she was bright orange. And she actually held the orange. She's held the orange up until last year. Now she's just like a really faded, weird color.
Mm.
So I tried her with, I think, a couple different males, and so far I've made nice babies, but they're tan. They're not pulling orange.
Dude, this orange is crazy. That's from
pretty.
Emily.
Yeah, it's from Emily. So now I'm trying with Emily's more orange stuff to see.
Okay.
Some of that orange stuff, the orange on some of those animals is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Like that actually, I don't even think that photo does that orange any justice because it
the back looks like a Cheeto.
Yeah. Yep.
That's so crazy.
I love that one.
Going to her house and seeing her animals makes me depressed.
I know. I told her the same thing.
I go over there. I was like crying myself to sleep for like a week after that. I was like, what am I even doing?
Just give up.
I told her, I was like, I don't know if you heard me when we were over there, and I was like, Emily, I was like, is there any way you would do a loan? I showed her the gecko. She's a red. She's from Johnny Cash and Ocean. She's so pretty. She's got like that really nice, vibrant white with like dripping.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, is there any way we could put her to Old Bay? And she's like, oh my gosh, we totally should. And I was like, I would just be so honored. And she's like, stop. She's like, stop, Allie. She's like, you have such nice animals. I was like, Emily, I was like, I just die coming to your house. I was like,
Old Bay is the only animal that has like legit, like blown me away in a few years.
I love Old Bay. I didn't even know about Old Bay until she.
I didn't either. She showed me a picture of him at Tinley. And she's like, oh, because we're doing a couple loan thing, and she's like, yeah, I'm thinking about this male. I'm like, who is that?
I cannot believe like she doesn't take photos and then she just pulls out all these like.
That's so crazy.
Insane animals.
It's not on her Instagram. I'm assuming we can't find it.
No.
I've
showed you before, Harry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I recall now.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We're not helping the like lore of Emily and all the people who want to buy geckos from her.
Yeah, no one can buy anything from her. Who is this person?
Don't worry. Old Bay's not that nice. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I hope she has something left at Flora Fauna.
I'm sure she will. She should.
Oh, is she vending not just her artwork, but vending animals?
Yeah, she'll bring animals.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, don't tell anybody that. No, just edit that. No,
she'll probably not have any animals. None from Old Bay. Definitely.
They'll be gone before Friday.
Yeah.
That's funny. Allie, what are some of your favorite? We talked about some of your projects, but what is one of your favorite projects you're looking forward to just this season?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I do have a couple I'm kind of excited about. There's some I haven't paired yet. Emily's female I haven't gotten paired yet. But I'm really excited if I can get eggs from her. Actually though, I have California Gold Rush and Jack, who's his brother, breeding this season from my first Ricochet and Mustang pairing. And it's funny, I kept 2 males from that season and 2 females from the next season. But they were so small last season that I couldn't breed them. It was just like they were just hanging at 25 grams for no reason at all. Which they're actually almost 50 now. It's wild. It's insane. That sometimes awesome. You can just give them 3 years and they just hit that really nice weight. So I have them breeding and I'm so excited to have them breeding because obviously I don't have another generation, I don't have any of her grandkids yet. So they are breeding to some of my, I think, top females. I have 2 females that are a mix from Triple X lines and somebody else that are kind of cool, which might actually add orange into them.
Yeah.
And then I have actually I have some white walls that made me I repaired her. they made me some really, really cool, funky, super solid white wall, but it's a tangerine color.
Yeah.
But it's just really, really solid, and I actually haven't taken any photos of those babies yet either. I've showed Sam, but that I'm actually really excited about. I think it's 2 or 3 females going to California. I think it's California. It's one or the other. I can never remember which, sometimes.
California or Florida, one of the two.
California, I'm looking. But she, you know what? No, it's Blind Spot, who's actually a Penelope Mauve kid. And then Jack from me. And I repaired them. And that kid is insane. It's just we're like right out of the egg, it had white wall, and the form, you can see it. It's not white, but you can see it. And then
you didn't photograph it, did you? It's not on your Instagram.
No, it would be on my Facebook.
Okay.
Honestly, my Facebook, it's easier for me because I keep tracking albums. So I do I actually take photos of 2023, 2022 babies.
Yeah.
So as soon as they hatch out of the egg, I take a photo of them.
Yeah. That'd be cool if Instagram had albums like that too.
Folders or something like that.
Yeah. I would, even folders. I wish they had folders. But I did repair them because the kit out of them is just so insane. So I'm really excited for that one, especially because it's Penelope Mauve. I mean, Christy makes awesome stuff. And the head structure, the reason why I named her Blind Spot is because she's an absolute psychopath. But her head structure is just solid. I mean, it's that really nice wide head, and I know some of those Penelope Mauve kids have those airplane heads, little landing strips. So hopefully that pulls into some of these kids, because I do aim for structure too. But yeah, as far as that goes, I think it's all of them. I mean, I'm really excited for this year's pairings. I just feel like it's amped up more than last year. I feel like I have better stuff than I did, or at least I had good stuff last year. It's just I couldn't breed it because it was too young. So I just feel like, or I hope this year will be just a really good year for the projects that I want.
Yeah, good. Yeah. That's good. It's exciting.
Sounds like it'll be a good year. You've got so much stuff that it sounds like you've been kind of cooking up for the past couple of years. It's finally going to hit. So that'll be exciting for you.
I hope so.
That's awesome. So I wanted to ask you, we had chatted a little bit before the show, and you had talked about wanting to discuss substrate and enclosures and stuff like that. Could you, I see behind you, it looks like you don't have paper towel in your cages. Could you talk us through maybe the evolution of care? It seems like you're onto PVC and substrate. Could you kind of walk us through maybe what got you to this point?
Yeah, so 2016, I used tubs for everything. I mean, it's always been 6-quart shoebox tubs, and I think it was the 64-quart Sterilite. I forget what size they were. 58 or 64 or something.
I think it goes 58, 66.
Okay, maybe it was
and then
the
72s.
Okay, yeah. It might have been the 66s that I used for adults, and then juvies, and I still have the tubs. It's the 28. I think it's the 28 quarts. I use those with just
the short ones or the
they're deep. They're
long one?
Okay,
yeah, they're deep and long. So they're the size. They're probably, I mean, lengthwise they're longer than height, but they still work for juvies. But I just soldered holes and everything, right? I didn't know about screen vents for a while. I think as far as upgrading, I upgraded. It was whenever Tristan started making cages, really. I've had baby racks, right? So baby racks, I think I did I started in 2018, 2019. PVC, baby racks, regular 6-quart shoebox tubs.
Yeah.
And then that made it really simple. We had everything on paper towels. Even the adults were on paper towels. I think I did not start Cocoa Husk. I don't even think I did Cocoa Husk in the tubs. So we just did paper towels with babies didn't get anything, but the adults got their, sphagnum moss lay box. And then I think, well, maybe I lied. I think we did have Cocoa Husk in there for maybe half a year in those tubs before Tristan started making the cages, the units. And I ended up getting some probably right after Sam bought some because we were both talking about it. And she was like, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I mean, I don't think I had the money at the time to buy enough. So she bought some. I ended up buying some. And I don't know if she had paper towels in hers at first or not, or even who led me on to the Cocoa Hush substrate, but I've never had paper towels, I don't think, in my adult cages because I did it for quarantine and then that's it. Because down here it seemed like they would just dry out way too quick, even with me hosing them down and with a water, just a water dish, a deep one too. Like I use the 2-ounce water dishes in their cages. So it was just drying out like way too much in my old house and down here. And plus I like that. Okay, I don't like that I have to dig for eggs. I'll be honest.
You don't lay box.
I do use lay boxes.
Yeah, but they'll
dig in the most of the girls they can they'll make their little mounds, right? But there are some girls I cannot find the eggs for the life of me. Like I'll just be digging and digging and digging. I'm like, where the heck are these freaking eggs at? But I will say, even with using coconut husk, I think I'd say maybe 30% of my females only dig in the substrate. Like most of them use the sphagnum lay moss. So I don't have to dig too much for eggs because I think a lot of them like the softer feel. And I'm bougie. Well, my girls are bougie. I use the AAA New Zealand kind, the kind that like you can't find anywhere, and that's like so expensive.
The long strand.
Yeah, it's super soft.
Yeah,
it is super soft. But yeah, I buy a huge bag when I go to Tinley every year. It's like $300 or something now. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know the guy who
It's just a giant bale. Is it the one that's kind of got like orange and clear packaging?
Yeah. And there's like only one guy that sells it. It's if you go into Tinley and you go on the right hand side and like the section, he's down usually like the third aisle from the wall, like it's third or fourth aisle or something.
Yeah.
But I usually always get it from him, and they really seem to like it, so we just keep using it.
Nice.
Yeah. Babies, I was using paper towels, and I was going through so many paper towels. Like the amount of paper towels you go through is just insane. Like I can change.
I go through so much.
I can change them, and like 3 days later, it's like they need it again. Like some of them just track so much food through there.
It's crazy.
Like I changed some out. Let's see, what's today? Tuesday. I changed some out last Thursday, and the entire tub is like destroyed. So I'm actually, I did actually do some on dirt. I was testing out dirt because I know Gabby keeps hers on dirt. I don't like the dirt because they just,
look dirty.
Well, but they get so much dirt in their food, it's insane. Even though it gets packed down, it's just like flings everywhere. So now we're doing cypress mulch, and I know Sam was talking on the last podcast about like the experimental phase. So far I like it. I think it depends on the cypress you buy. I think it depends on where you buy it. I'm buying mine from vendors currently. It's still wet. You still have to dry it out. I've been trying to like tumble it to dry it out. But I think, I'm misting less. So far I'm not using a water dish in the babies. The Eurys, I don't use substrate for. I'm a little afraid for them.
But, so you use paper towel on those?
Yeah, just paper towels for the Eurys. But
would you worry about ingestion with juveniles on sphagnum or on what kind of cypress if you were feeding insects, or would you not worry about that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm more worried for the babies right now. They spit stuff out though, like. So here's the thing for juvies. I actually have them in the tall, not big juvies, but like the I don't know,
subadults or whatever.
They're like 8 to 12 gram range, or 15 or something in the tall ones. I do actually keep those on dirt. They don't track as much dirt through their food, and that packs down. So feeding them crickets is fine. But I did feed crickets when I had some on cocoa husk, and one like literally took a big chunk in its mouth instead of the cricket and just stared at me and spit it back out. I mean, I think they're fine pretty much. It probably does depend on the size of the gecko, obviously, but I think anything above the 10 gram weight I'm okay with on substrate and feeding crickets. I mean, I know a lot of people seem to be either switching to substrate, or I've used certain types of substrate like dirt and fed crickets on it, and it's been completely fine.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I haven't actually fed these guys crickets on the substrate yet, so I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I burned through so much paper towel, it's insane. So are you doing cork with that, or what are you doing? Are you just doing plant?
Just a plant, yeah.
Okay.
They seem to be shedding just fine. Honestly, I don't have shed issues down here.
I don't either.
I haven't even had them, I had them in the old house because it was just so arid in the room that they were in that it would just dry out too quickly. So I would add cork bark to it, but these guys, other than the Eurys, it's just a plant, and they seem to do totally fine on it. But as far as subadults, the subadults are actually in extra large, the drop front shoe boxes you can buy from the Container Store.
Yeah. Yep.
They're like 22 by 11 by 9 or something. Or maybe, no, not 22. Is it? I don't know. I don't know the exact dimensions. I just know, dimensionally wise, they're only slightly smaller than a 12 by 12 by 18.
Okay.
So I actually keep some of the smaller boys in there that just don't want to hold weight. And then, any of the subadults, even some of the girls that are right at 40 grams that haven't been totally upgraded to these cages yet are still in there.
So and that's like your cage right before they go to their adult cage.
Yeah. So they actually get 2 upgrades technically before the adult cage.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the adult cages are 12, 12, 18s? Is that
they're 12, 12, 18s. I do actually have, Tristan made me custom, I only have 9, but he made me custom condos that are 20, 22, 18 or something. I don't know. It's so that it's so that they can fit the 12, 12, 18 condos on top.
Okay.
Yeah, so he specifically designed it for that.
Yeah.
So I actually do keep.
So that's 3 cages in the stack?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 3 girls, 3 bigger girls, and 3 of them, 3 Leachies, and 3 of them. No, 4 Leachies and 4 of them, and then 1 that Garg trios in one of them.
Okay.
So, I do try to put the girls in something bigger. I am probably looking to get another set of the deeper cages from Tristan.
Yeah.
Just for some of the bigger stuff here, because I don't find that my stuff's obese or overweight. There might be a couple girls who could lose some weight. But it's not anything significant to where they have fat rolls or they don't have any issues. They don't have the heavy duty arms. It's, honest to God, the 2 girls that are in the biggest cages, they're the most overweight. And they get fed less and they have a bigger cage. It's One of them's pixie dust. She actually maxed out at 90 grams at one point in time.
Oh my goodness, that's big.
And I don't know why. I mean, like, she did. She had fat rolls, like rolls on rolls. And her weight now, actually, it's just an average 70. She's just a big gecko. And it's there's very little extra weight to her. I think most of my stuff here is just larger. Like, I know in the past, it seemed there are a lot of small lines. And I know there still are small lines out there. Stuff that like will max out at 35, 40
A lot
grams.
of the dowels are small.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. So I'm aiming for bigger geckos, not stuff that's going to get overweight, but stuff that's like a healthy, 50 grams. Bigger structure, bigger just overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a trend that the hobby is going towards, is larger animals, which is funny because I feel like we're now going to get to the point where that 40-gram female recommendation, or even
like
45, even 45 will be low.
Yeah.
If we keep pushing these animals to be bigger and bigger and bigger,
Yeah.
it's 45 is going to still be like a sub-adult.
I think I have a fair amount that's like 45. I know there is actually, when I bred Johnny Cash to Whoopi, it was a lone pairing. Whoopi was 40 grams maxed out. Johnny Cash actually is only 40 grams. He's maxed out 40 grams. So his daughter, Kaleidoscope, is actually breeding this season. I think she's almost 4 now. And I've just been pushing her, but she is 40 grams, like on the dot. And she's actually like 39 empty. And I'm like, should I breed this? Should I not breed this? I don't know.
She's maxed out.
Yeah, she's maxed out. I'm going to try one season. And if I think she's just, not doing well, it's just going to either pet only or just keep her. Because she's not. I just think sometimes maybe it's just the gecko itself. Maybe genetically wise, it might not be as healthy. But I still think like 45 is a good average for the geckos.
Yeah. It's so crazy, but like even when like I started or when Sam started, it was 35.
Yeah.
35 was like, oh yeah, you're good to go. And now like no one, for the most part, I mean, there is like maybe some old school lines that 35 actually is like a good weight, but it seems that that's kind of becoming
less
not relevant. Just the larger we breed these animals, their point of adulthood is later.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Like if they're like average weight of max size is growing, also their point of being able to be bred will be later too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I've been telling people, because it used to be 2 years, you could breed female, 2 years and a male, like, 1 if you pushed it, or, like 1.5. But it seems like now, even if you do try to push that, you just either don't get good eggs, you don't get any eggs at all, or like the breeding pair just kind of goes downhill faster. So I've actually been like talking to people about it, and even people asking me, they're like, well, should I let this female go for another season? And I'm like, I would. I mean, what's the point of rushing it too sometimes? Like, yeah, you want those kids, but at the same time, do you want your female to crash? That's, a point that you have to recognize, like,
Yeah, that makes sense. So you had mentioned feeding. I want to touch on this before we kind of make a little bit of a left turn. But what are you feeding now? You had mentioned kind of your slurry that you're doing once a month, but what's kind of the daily rotation you're doing?
So the main is BPZ, Black Panther Zoological, and Pangea. I do all flavors except for fig and breeder growth formula in Pangea.
Okay. Why not those two?
Mine hate fig. Okay, I'm gonna say mine hate fig, but I did try like a fig bag, and I know it does take some time for geckos to get used to it, but it seemed like over half the collection just would not take fig, like at all. Even if I just kept trying it. And funny enough, I try fresh fig. They don't like fresh fig. I don't.
Interesting.
So, and then as far as growth and breeders, I mean, the Pangea with insects is almost the same. I think even the min protein is the same on the bags, and I don't know.
There's maybe a little more calcium in it.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is right now on it. I know a couple, like, because they've changed it twice now.
Breeder formula?
Yeah, because there wasn't there's, I mean, I don't know. It seemed to be an issue with it, and then they changed the formula, and then it just seemed to be fine. But they changed it. Didn't they change it to it used to be like apricot, but now it's more like papaya or something? I think the flavor changed.
They still have apricot. I still use it.
I like apricot. I don't like apricot because it's so thin, but the geckos seem to really like apricot.
Yeah, yeah.
And then watermelon's like half and half. They really like papaya, and then the with insects. I do try to rotate through pretty much everything though.
What would you say the number one Pangea flavor is? Like if you had to pick one.
In my collection or just overall?
Yeah. In your collection. I mean your experience.
I'm gonna say it's a tough choice, but I would go either with watermelon or papaya. Okay. I recommend both to people. Like when I sell it, I recommend everything to everybody, but I just tell people it just seems like if they're switching just to straight Pangea, because mine don't really ever eat just straight Pangea, to just do papaya or watermelon, because it's like it seems like it's the sweeter flavor, and like every gecko I know takes it.
What are you doing 50-50, did you say, on BPZ in that? Or what's the
it's
ratio?
More like 80-40, 80-20, or
80 BPZ?
Yeah, or 70-30. Because I'll use a little bit of banana rapashi sometimes just to sweeten it.
Okay.
Just like a little like 0.2% or something, you know?
Okay. And you feel like the feeding responses are good on that? Across the board.
I will say it took a while to get them switched to BPZ. A lot of people recommend. Actually, Eslin recommended it to me a while back. Back when BFG was a thing too, he was like, "Don't use BFG, use BPZ." So I tried it. I tried Color Balm, and I was like, "Does Color Balm actually do anything?" He's like, "I don't think so, but you know,
magic.
It's the flavor, you know."
Yeah.
So I tried it, and it just didn't seem to have a really good response. But I think, you know, having only like 15 geckos at the time, what's a good response for 15 geckos? Whereas, you know, 600, you can really see who's eating and who's not.
Yeah.
As an overall. But I think I've been doing it for 2 years, full years now, like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And seems to have a really, really good feeding response. Like, honestly, it's the Leachies.
The Leachies like it.
No, the Leachies probably like it the least. Because I've noticed the Leachies like the sweeter flavors.
Yeah.
So when I use like really sweet fruit or, you know, anything sweet like the apricot, oh my God, they devour the apricot. Whereas the Crested or even the Eurys, it seems like they don't like the apricot as much because it's almost too sweet. I've noticed the sweeter flavors the Eurys don't like as much. It's kind of weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
It's a good tip. Try it out.
But
yeah. Allie, business-wise, we're going to shift a little bit towards business. What has been your strategy for sales, developing your business? And yeah, you know, if we're going to talk about like best way to sell, things like that, we can talk about that as well in this section. So for you, when you were starting out, were you just collecting and breeding as many things as possible and then going to shows? Were you selling in private DMs? What were you doing? And what have you seen work?
So when I first started selling, I didn't do shows yet. I only had because I would only have like a couple at a time. I wasn't really breeding hardcore when I first started. I think, I'm trying to think. I sold online, Facebook, because like I know Facebook didn't, allow animal sales, but everybody could get by with it, with numbers in their posts and everything. And there were a lot more groups back then too in Facebook. So it seemed like it was easier to sell back then because you could advertise like way more than you can now as a whole. As far as going to show, I think I did my first show with Sam. I'm sure I did. I mean, like, we're attached at the hip, basically. But I think she invited me to do a show with her, and we've just pretty much done shows together ever since. Like, I'll do shows without her, but I know she won't do shows without me anymore.
That's sweet. Yeah.
So, I do sell online still through private DMs. I don't think I ever used Fauna. I used King Snake. I used King Snake probably up until about 2 years ago, actually. I think is what it was. But I never used the Pangea forums. I really did. I knew they existed, but I did not know that you could sell on them, I think.
By the time you were selling geckos, that was kind of dead.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like everybody had moved to Facebook by like 2016.
Yeah, it makes more sense too. Because that, like I said, 2016, that market, that was probably the highest jump. I think 2014 was the start, and it was the start of the Korea buying. Yeah.
2014 was the beginning of the Korea like mass buying.
Yeah, because Joe from when Joe owned BFG, I actually met him in person when I lived in Orlando, and he's like, "Oh, you're getting into Crested." He's like, "It's like a huge thing right now." So I didn't even know when I got into him until he told me about it.
Yeah, I think the pricing in 2014 tripled, and it was pretty low in 2013, but like it was pretty normal. I remember it was like, oh, the most expensive geckos you'd sell would be like $200. And I remember in 2014, it was like most animals were $600 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just, the demand was just like through the roof for anything of quality,
Yeah. Yep. So, after that though, I think it was mostly just Facebook sales. Okay. I mean, I may have done the Manassas show whenever it rolled around in the Richmond show, which are just two really small local shows, but they just have such a substantial like following because they've been around for so long. I don't even know how long. Larry's been around for decades. I'm not even joking. Like since the start of any sort of business, he probably has. Maryland Reptile Farm. I don't know if you guys know him or not.
I'm not aware. No.
He was a ball python guy though when he bred. I don't know if he still breeds or not, but yeah, he was around at probably the start of pretty much everything. So we did his shows because he's had them for so long and a lot. I mean, I don't know. When I say a lot of people, I'd say like a good show was 5,000 people through the door. That was like a lot of people for us.
That is a lot of people. That's a lot of people for a local show.
Yeah, and I think normal shows are like 2,000 through the door or something.
For like a small show?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we're talking like these shows are in a fairground
banquet hall.
Yeah, like a
I got it.
Small thing.
They're in like a side room of a Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did those shows. We typically always did really well because all of our geckos, they were extremes, pinstripes, stuff.
People wanted
not Petco geckos. So not flames, because there were a lot of flames on the market at the time too, like a lot of flames.
Well, now people want Petco geckos out.
Yeah,
I don't know if you knew this.
No. Had no clue.
Tables coming up.
That's the hottest new morph, the Petco morph.
The Petco morph. We have to go back to basics, AJ. Didn't you know that?
Right. Yeah. Give me those buckskins and those flames. Give me some moon glows.
I need to get some of those moon glows.
Don't we all?
But But yeah, I think selling online was the main, just Facebook and it. Craigslist. I live in such, I live in such an area. I can't sell things on Craigslist. Where am I going to go?
If you posted it, it'd be your neighbor walking over like, hey, I saw your ad.
Even
your 70-year-old neighbor.
I've tried on
they're going to try to They're gonna try to trade you a rhubarb pie for one of the geckos on Craigslist.
Dude, I would take a rhubarb pie. But no, I've tried on DC and Baltimore, and it's shady for one on Baltimore. I mean,
Baltimore is the scariest place I've ever been.
Baltimore, okay, like I've been San Francisco's shady in its parts now, but
nothing compared to Baltimore. If anyone's ever seen like the Dark Knight movies, like the Christopher Nolan Batmans, they base that off of how Baltimore is every day.
Shadier than New York City, I swear to God.
Chicago is like tame compared to Baltimore.
It's so bad.
Pretty ghetto too. Like it's pretty bad. They just closed. Super side story. They just they had a Raising. Is it Raising Cane's? They have the sandwiches.
The chicken.
They literally just stopped allowing people to park there and eat because everyone's car was getting broken into.
Oh my God.
So where is that?
Is that
it? What city? Oakland. Oakland's bad, man.
Oh, Oakland is bad. Oh God.
Oakland is bad.
Oakland is. I would say it's. I don't know Baltimore because I don't have experience there, but Oakland is pretty bad.
I think maybe the car theft in Oakland is worse.
Oh
than
my gosh,
Baltimore,
it's bad. It's really bad.
Baltimore is you just drive through, like we drove through, and all of the manhole covers, steam is coming out of them, and it's like there was people out there like hanging out, and it was pouring rain and 40 degrees, and everyone's just standing in it. I'm like, what is happening?
What are you guys doing? Go home.
And there was like, I saw somebody with like a burning barrel under a bridge. I'm like, all right, we got to get out of here.
It's not Tony's thugs down there.
Yeah, it was bad.
Not Baltimore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So don't post in the Craigslist of Baltimore. Moral of the story.
No, super sketch.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What about, do you use Morph Market at all?
So I did actually when didn't John start it up in 2016?
No idea.
17?
I remember
feel like everything happened then.
Right when you came in, you were just the catalyst.
It was it was 17, I think, is when he started that, because he was at Tinley offering out his cards to advertise and everything, and because that was the year I came in with Christine and Emily. So I think that was when he started Morph Market, and I was a little skeptical at first, but I think in that tax next year, 2018, I think I did list some stuff in Morph Market. I don't think that anything sold because it just wasn't big enough yet. So I think I kind of just waited.
Not enough eyes on it.
Yeah. And it did really pop. Like it popped off with all of his advertisement and stuff within, I think within the 2 years. If he did actually start it in 2017, by 2019, it was
more popular.
It was well known enough that people would, go buy stuff off there.
And he just started the app too, right? Last year or so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did go on there. That was when it was free. It is free now, but you can only it's a limit of $700. It's like nothing.
You put one animal on there and you've
I'm like done.
Even the one that's like the mid-tier one, it's like it's like, oh, you can have like whatever the number is.
You could have 1.5 mid-tier ones.
So, like some number that is like so unusable. And then it's like the next step up is like 40,000. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he should do it by
number of animals.
Or category even. Like geckos, lizards, snakes, ball pythons, and then just like different categories of snakes or something.
Yeah.
Like because it
value is so weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to cap out some of these, some of these breeders or animals. Like I understand paying for it. That's fine. I don't mind. But like the cap out is just it seems like the tiers are just a little bit odd to me. But I don't know. Maybe it's a suggestion we can make to him and he can think it over. I don't know.
Maybe it should just be number of animals, and then there's like A, B, and C plan or something. I don't know. But it's kind of weird, that's values.
But yeah, so I don't use it anymore because I pay the same amount for that one tier that I was in as I do for my website a year, and I sold 2 animals on Morph Market versus the 20 I sold on my website for the year. I mean, I will say I don't advertise my website as much as I really should either, but I also don't sell everything directly through the website. Some people email me. I've gotten actually a couple of texts before. Some things I take to shows, and then some things sell directly on the website. So even though I only sold 20 directly from the website, or on it through it, I would say probably anywhere from 50 to 100, because I don't know the number, right? Because I'm just taking stuff to shows. I would say 50 to 100 got sold because of the website. But as far as Morph Market, like I can use it for advertisement, just post up that one animal and just be like, hey, hit the website up or whatever. But it's just, currently at this time, and mainly because I don't have help and I don't have, well, I have some time, but I just haven't had time to take photos, and it's been so cold that I don't like taking indoor photos because they just look like complete crap to me. I can't really get anything listed, so it's not worth it to me to pay for it right now. So maybe later on, like even here soon, maybe I'll grab my account and put some more stuff back up there. But it's so hard for me, like, especially when you're one person, to run 4 different things. So I'm running, I tried running Morph Market, my website, Instagram, and Facebook. And it is so much to keep up with. Like, you literally need a media manager, I think, especially because at this time, like, there's times of the year where I'm only working 2 days a week at my job, or I'm working 4 to 5. So it's like either or, and I just feel like there's never enough time to update everything. And I want to try to keep everything updated, and
it's impossible.
It really is. It is so impossible to do. And people are like, well, why don't you have a YouTube channel? Oh my God, I don't know. Because it's too hard to run. I need a media manager,
Well, we got you this week on YouTube. So
we got you. You're on YouTube this week. Your post for the week.
Go to Hidden Valley with Allie. Get all your geckos.
Just Google or YouTube search you, and they'll find you on YouTube. There you go.
So,
all right. So I have a question. So we always ask everybody this. I want to know kind of what your advice to newer people is. I know you've got a wealth of knowledge. You've done this for many years now. What would you say, looking back, either what would you tell your earlier self, or maybe somebody today now that's getting into it? What would you say are things that, maybe not one thing, but things that are just kind of on your mind that would be valuable for them to know?
So definitely, I say this, I swear, I say this to everybody too, is just to breed what you love. Like, no matter what, because as we talked about Burnout earlier, if you don't breed something you like, and you want to do the trend, you're already behind it. Like Dalmatians, my God, they were popped off for a year and a half, and now they're slowly, I mean, they're not falling, but there's definitely a drop-off point on Dows right now. Like, people were dying, they were buying up Dows so fast you couldn't keep them. It didn't matter the Dow. But now people are, significantly picking out what they want. So just a matter of trends, don't follow them. Everything's going to come back around. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, AJ, you said earlier, people want flames. Like, they want olives. And no joke, there was
tigers.
There was a time nobody wanted olives, and then all of a sudden, for a good year and a half, people wanted olives, and nobody could find them. So it's like a crazy thing, but it's like anything in the world. Like, you can't follow trends because you're always going to be behind it if you don't already have it. And I think as far as breeding standpoints, I think a lot of people don't stop to listen to other people. Everybody's always going to have a different opinion as far, husbandry, everything goes. Everybody is always going to have a different opinion. But the thing is you don't have to argue about it, for one. It's not worth the time either, anyway, to argue about it unless there's something significantly wrong with it. But, if something maybe isn't quite working for you, to go to another breeder and just ask them what they would do about it. There are a lot of us still who go to other breeders for other stuff. I mean, AJ, I ask you stuff all the time. I ask Sam stuff all the time. And I mean, I'm seasoned, but God, you guys have been in it for way longer than I have. But I know, there's breeders who are always open to questions. We're always open to discussions. And I think just being in it for the bettering of the animal is what we just all need to be in it for, not yourself. So,
those are good things.
Yeah, just take the time to just step back and, listen to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, I know Harry and I talk about that a lot, just being like a sponge and being able to listen to what other people's different opinions of you, differing opinions from you are. I mean, I think the best thing to do is like have open ears and then like kind of like slow, like quick to listen, slow to speak kind of a thing.
Yeah,
is probably a good principle for anybody in the hobby. I mean, me too. I mean, that's why we do this podcast and stuff, is I'm learning all the time. I know Harry is too. So
I love talking with different people. It just really helps get different perspectives, and you realize that even people that are really strongly hard stance on certain things, like, I mean, we've lived long enough to know that in any sort of community, you have the opinion of people, and some people just say what they need to say, and it's fine, but you don't have to. Yeah, so anyway, all I'm saying is, there's so much to learn from everybody, and I think it's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, Allie, where can people find you? We talked about your website. Where can we hit you up, and how can people message you and talk to you and get your animals? Where can any plugs that you have?
Okay, so if you see me at any show, I do hand out business cards that has my phone number, my email on it. I believe my business page or my website should at least have my email on it. There is a little contact form there too. It should have, an email on it. You can email me pretty much at any time. I get emails pretty fast, both through the website and normally.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram. I'm going to be honest, I only check Instagram maybe once a day.
Oh, okay. So you're more on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook a lot. I get Messenger a lot more often. My Instagram notifications, I don't know, they pop off weird. I don't know if it's just my notification settings, but I don't always get messages. In Instagram. So you can contact me either my business page on Facebook or my personal page on Facebook. I answer both. I'm faster with my personal page. But I answer pretty much everything. I don't answer all hours of the night. So if you message me at 2:00 in the morning, odds are, especially if it's a night that I work, I'm not going to answer you. But I'll typically, if I'm up or at a show and I'm up and I just see a random message, I'll answer it. I mean, I have business hours, but I do still answer people's messages. So you'll hear from me eventually. 24 hours,
That's good. Do you, when people Facebook add you to your personal, do you accept all of them? I'm just curious how people do.
Probably not everybody.
Okay.
But I'm getting up there in the whole friends thing. I know Facebook maxes out at 5K or whatever. I don't even know what I'm at. I don't add everybody, but my page is public though too, so it's not like you can't see my posts anyway. And then Messenger, I mean, that's easy. The Messenger requests pop up. So
okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. Any other closeout items that you want to discuss? Oh, you're going to SAC show.
We're going to the SAC show. Yes.
I'm in California. Sacramento is only an hour and a half away from me. I'm going to go there next weekend. And surprisingly, Allie, you're coming all the way from Virginia out to the Sacramento show.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'll see you there.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So if you're in California and going to be at the Sac show, say hi to Allie. Are you just going to be roaming around, Allie?
Yeah, I will be roaming, so you'll have to catch me. I will try to take my shirt so you can see me. Look, I'm 6 foot tall, all right? So you shouldn't miss me. I may or may not have my
People are going to be like, so, where is she?
Oh, here she is. Hold on. All right, no glasses. Here I am. I can't see you, but you can see me.
Every variation of what they might see. So, glasses, no glasses.
Are you taller than AJ? AJ, you're taller than 6 feet, are you?
He's taller.
Yeah, I'm 6'3".
Yeah. I just remember at Tinley, you guys were all like super giant. I'm tiny. I'm like 5'4", so I'm looking up at everybody. It's all the same to me.
But yeah, I'm gonna be roaming around. I think we'll do Friday. I mean, like if anybody really wants to meet me or whatever, just send me a message. We can try and meet up. I think though Saturday is the day I'm gonna try and go. Because sorry guys, I'm not coming out there for you. I just planned my vacation around it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My mom lives in Auburn. Well, cool, but so we'll be out in California for a little while. I believe we have a lot of stuff planned, but I know one person did want to meet up with me, maybe outside of the show, like for coffee. So like, I feel like if anybody did, maybe just hit me up. I think like Thursday or Tuesday, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll be like down in Sacramento anyway for or in at least near Folsom for the flowers if they're gonna bloom. I don't know. That Blake.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean anybody's feel free to hit me up and maybe we can just I'd love to see my West Coast people. I know I haven't met a whole bunch of them yet, so I would love to see whoever I can in person while I'm out there too.
Awesome. So if you're in the West Coast out here, hit up Allie, go meet her and say hi. Yeah, awesome. Cool. AJ, any other items to discuss? We good?
No, I think it's good. I'm excited for everything to come. I'm sure Allie and I will see each other at shows here out in the East Coast soon. So yeah,
Flora-Fauna. You'll be at Flora-Fauna, Allie. So everyone else will see you there. So yeah, thanks, Allie. Hidden Valley Geckos. We really appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll tell everybody like and subscribe to our YouTube and check us out on Spotify if you want to just listen on there, and follow us on Instagram for clips and all sorts of stuff for the podcast. So giveaways and So all right, thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.